Doomsday. The beginning is SSS Level Talent Introduction. When everyone teleports to an unknown apocalyptic wasteland, how should they survive? Facing the arrival of natural disasters, is it cooperation or betrayal? How many people can trust when faced with the test of human nature and life? On this wasteland, everyone is striving to survive. Chapter 1. Wasteland World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. Welcome to the wasteland world. Everyone from around the world will come to this game of survival. In the end, once a place with brilliant civilization, birds chirping and flowers fragrant, it has now become a wasteland filled with various monsters. Everyone will randomly come to a place and do everything possible to survive in this wasteland. Your task is to survive to the best of your ability, whether it's cooperation or struggle. It's up to you to redefine the rules here. If you can overcome all obstacles and survive to the end in this test, then you may achieve everything you want. Random descent in progress. Cherish life. If a person is killed, they will die. After a period of dizziness and dizziness, Zhu Ting slowly opened his eyes and suddenly found himself in a ruined city surrounded by dilapidated buildings emitting thick smoke. One moment ago, I was still hiding in a paid fishing spot to relieve the pressure of work, but the next moment I was transported to this wasteland world full of zombies and radiation monsters. Zhu Ting's mind swelled, and a wave of information followed closely into his mind. Everyone has been forcibly transported to this wasteland world and needs to work hard to survive in this dangerous world. According to the information prompt, this world has become a wasteland, with various resources depleted, and various crises that may occur at any time. In this apocalyptic wasteland, there are also various mutated creatures, mutated zombies, mutated animals, mutated plants, and some peculiar mutated soul creatures. These mutated creatures are not only powerful and have eerie attack methods, but also carry terrifying viral infectivity. If accidentally infected, the outcome will be like a mutated zombie, becoming a walking corpse. However, under this apocalyptic crisis, there are also various opportunities, abilities, weapons, and legendary items that can be obtained. These can make people stronger and easily hunt mutated creatures. After understanding these, even though many people are unwilling to accept reality, in this world already filled with various literary works, the vast majority of people still accept reality. Just when facing death, adaptation is far from that simple. Zhu Ting rubbed his slightly painful brain, and now there is a lot of information he wants to get. Although there are system-like prompts, they are still too few. At the same time, a cold voice came to mind again. Welcome to the abandoned soil area at 1211. The number of visitors to this area is 15,000. You can summon the wasteland light screen with your right-hand bracelet to learn more about yourself. You will receive a beginner gift pack. After the indifferent voice disappeared, Zhu Ting immediately looked towards his right hand. At this moment, there is a white wrist on my wrist, gently tapping, and a screen suddenly appears in front of me. At the same time, a semi-transparent light screen appeared in front of him, which looked a bit like a game technology scene. There is an exclamation mark in the upper right corner of the screen, with 3 explanations written. Except for myself, others cannot see the screen unfold. Choose the option in the light screen to open the corresponding page. The bracelet comes with an 8 cubic meter space backpack. Please be careful not to put live objects inside. Interestingly, Zhu Ting observed the scene with great interest. Although he had always felt a sense of fear in his heart, excitement continued to pour in. In the middle of the screen is a 3D image of one's own character, with a wrapped icon on the right. This should be the so-called space backpack. Anyway, I often read novels and watch movies, which is easy to understand what it means. Thinking about the package with my mind, a black square of approximately 2 by 2 by 28 cubic meters suddenly appeared in front of me, containing a small package. Very convenient. This is Zhu Ting's first reaction in his mind. Take it out and the item information will also appear in front of you. Novice package. Upon opening, obtain a weapon, quality between porcelain and silver, and a talent that adapts to individual needs. Don't choose to open it for now, but close the backpack and continue looking at the panel. There are multiple options below the panel, such as character properties, intrinsic skills, chat channel, important records, wasteland friends, and team, which can be opened. There are 3 buttons with an X number behind them, which are currently not allowed to be opened and seem to need to be unlocked, namely, points, shelter, and. Except for the absence of an exit button, it was obvious that Zhu Ting once again confirmed that he was not in any game. Zhu Ting was lost in thought and clicked on the first option, character properties. Next second. This area will pop up a screen, displaying all of its attribute information. Race. Human, name. Zhu Ting. Level. F level. Power. 4. Constitution. 3. Speed. 3. Spirit. 6. Talent. Unawakened. Looking at his personal attributes, Zhu Ting didn't know whether these were high or low. Intuitively, the feeling should be slightly higher than that of ordinary people. As a social animal, although my job is not 996, I often work overtime and there are no opportunities for exercise during long hours of office work. In terms of physical fitness, I am indeed average. In fact, there are too many leaders in the company, and I have to carry water, flowers, tables, chairs, and benches every day, which is why my strength is surprisingly good. Combined with my relatively good educational background, a high level of education indirectly indicates that there is no problem with intelligence. From this, Zhu Ting inferred that most people have a score of 3 in each item, and then fluctuate 1 or 2 points based on each item, indicating that they should have a higher attribute, especially spiritual power, which probably represents their good mind. I don't know if in this wasteland world, a big fist or a lively mind is more important. Zhu Ting muttered, ready to open the chat channel and collect intelligence. At this moment, the cold voice echoed again in the air, and text lit up on everyone's wasteland screen. At the same time, the important records option keeps flashing, indicating that everything the system says is stored here. All participants in the current apocalyptic wasteland world will receive a beginner's protection zone within 3 days, covering a range of 5 by 5 by 5 meters after the protected area is generated. It cannot be moved and can isolate all monsters. After 3 days, the protected area will disappear, and you will lose all protection and face the wasteland crisis alone, searching for shelter, surviving. There are multiple well-established shelters in each area, please find and activate them. Warning. In 25 days, there will be a D.level natural disaster zombie wave sweeping the entire region. The next moment, the sound disappeared, and in an instant, Zhu Ting saw a transparent light mask area built around him, which was called a protected area. The protected area has transformed the 5 meter x 5 meter area of the core of Zhu Ting into a light curtain, covering it. Outside the light curtain of the protected area, mutated humanoid zombies began to gradually attract, waving their teeth and claws. However, these low-level zombies can only lie on the transparent light curtain at most, roaring angrily inside, but cannot move forward at all. Although low-level zombies may not look very powerful, he has watched post-apocalyptic survival movies and knows that once the number of zombies accumulates, it will be an absolutely terrifying disaster. If these mutated zombies don't have the isolation of the protected area in 3 days, they will all rush in, and they will definitely hiccup. Thinking of the zombie tearing up his own body, Zhu Ting suddenly felt a sense of crisis in his heart. He urgently opened the chat channel to see the situation of others and whether there were any good strategies. The current highest open area for chatting is probably the 1211 wasteland to which you belong. Damn it, I was so unlucky. I randomly stumbled upon a crematorium, and now there are mutated zombies all over the door. Fortunately, there is a 3-day protection zone, otherwise I would die and be cremated. Is there any big shot near this funeral home? Please help. Brother, you've worked really hard. My luck has exploded. I just visited a shopping mall and not only received a large amount of daily necessities, but also found multiple items in the container. According to the introduction, they should belong to the low-level treasures mentioned in the system, which will definitely be useful for my survival, hahaha. Don't panic, brother. I have observed that these zombies are at the level of ordinary people. And you have a protected area. First, open the beginner's gift pack and get a weapon to blow up the zombies' heads. Remember not to leave the protected area with your hands and body, you can get stuck with bugs. I just tried it and it worked. The zombie also exploded a safety helmet, saying it can strengthen defense. Thank you, brother. What's going on? Just now, a brother from the protected area across from me was grabbed by a zombie's weapon. When he and the zombie were fighting for weapons, he didn't have as much power as the zombie and was directly pulled out. Now, the zombie has dug out all his internal organs, flowing all over the ground and screaming in agony. This is so unfortunate, there are indeed no absolute bugs. Little life is important. To be safe, the first reaction next time a weapon is caught is to simply let go. Don't talk about these unlucky things, let's take a look at my own talents first. I not only obtained a silver level weapon, but also a B.level talent with super hardening, which increases my defense by 10% in normal times. Actively using it can immune me to 90% physical damage for a certain period of time. When the protected area disappears, I will rely on this to charge out. There is such a big gap between the lying troughs and the people, and your luck is so explosive. My beginner package only has one porcelain level weapon, even talent. I'm low, my talent is only proficient in F.level weapons, increasing weapon attack power by 10%. Cut, what's really trash upstairs? Although I'm also at level F, I'm better than you at least. The Psychic Hunter increases damage to ghostly creatures by 20%. Although I don't want to say it, aren't we facing zombies now? You're a useless ghost creature, and now you're a useless person without talent. You are a fucking loser. Level F is usually enhanced by 10%, and I will stop being sour by 20%. When I see a ghost-like environment in the future, I will take off directly. You should first consider how to survive, trash, if you dare to scold me, you should wait for the fuck, everyone should be more civilized. The top priority is to unite, collect and share information on waste soil, so that we can survive as much as possible. Don't forget the mutated corpse tied in 25 days. Who's upstairs? With a face of a savior. My name is Blue Fly, and although my talent is not at the top SSS level, I barely managed to mix it up with an S.level talent. The brother who was trapped in the crematorium above can give me a location. As long as you are willing to be my little brother, I will definitely go and save you. Big brother. Big brother. You are my own big brother. I was originally interested in watching it and also obtained some intelligence, which made Zhu Ting quite satisfied. However, at this moment, the art style suddenly changed, and the entire chat area's art style changed. Most people were shocked to see that this person named Lan Fei actually has an S.level talent. This is an S.level talent, extremely rare among people. As of now, it is the strongest talent they have ever seen. So it went from a communication conference to a licking dog conference in an instant. Blue Flying Boss is indeed the person he is named after. He soars to the sky, and I beg for protection. My talent is level D, which can increase teammates' movement speed by 20%. Finding Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com has a 10% chance to detect mutated soul-type creatures. He is definitely a top talent for conquering cities and territories in the end of Wasteland. Blue Flying Boss, could you please share your position? I admire you very much and want to send you warmth, Lan Fei said, it's all our own people. If we don't talk about the two families, we won't send out the positions for now. When I try to rush out to protect myself, I will definitely help everyone. Lan Fei. Ming people don't talk in secret. I want to save every brother and sisters as much as possible for our 1211 waste soil area. But I want to be the leader of our area, and I hope you will support me. Of course, if there is anything I don't agree with, I'm Lon and I welcome to come to challenge you after this time. Blue Flying Boss, I recognize you as the boss, I also recognize it. I also recognize it. Boss, who doesn't agree with you? I'll be the first to stand up and criticize him. There is a lot of hype and flattery on the chat channel. Unable to obtain useful content, Zhu Ting felt bored and closed the chat channel. With a moment's thought, he looked at the newbie package in front of him. From the chat message just now, many people had obtained a talent and a weapon after opening this gift package. After pondering for a moment, he knew that the moment to determine his fate had arrived. He walked straight to the gift package and resolutely opened it for the beginner. In the next moment, a dazzling and colorful light lit up, illuminating the surroundings, exceptionally gorgeous and dazzling. As he opened the package, a cold voice rang out in his mind. Successfully opened the beginner's package, you have received the following rewards: a long iron sword. SSS level unique talent, infinite enhancement. I actually obtained SSS level talent. Or is it unique? Chapter 2. Future. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. Zhu Ting never imagined that one day, he would win a big prize and his heart would instantly become excited. You should know. The person named Feitian just now, with only S.level talent, was highly sought after and flattered by everyone. And at this moment, his talent level is actually the most powerful SSS level. If you think about it this way, that Feitian doesn't even deserve to lift his shoes. According to the information collected so far, talent levels are divided into F, E, D, C, B, A, S, SS, and SSS levels. Among them, F.level talents are the lowest and the most useless, while SSS level talents are the highest and have the strongest abilities. And all SSS level talents have uniqueness. That is to say, in this wasteland apocalyptic world, there will be no second person who can possess the same innate abilities as Zhu Ting. Thinking of this uniqueness, Zhu Ting felt a sense of relief in his heart. Finally, he had turned over and worked as a laborer in his previous life. In this life, he was finally going to become a big shot. I couldn't wait to check my talent attributes. Uniqueness SSS talent. Infinite enhancement, can continue to evolve. 1. Normal enhancement. Each item obtained has an improvement in quality, up to a maximum of 1 enhancement. 2. Super enhancement. Enhance an item to advance it, 1/3 times. Note. Killing monsters, completing tasks, etc. can add a super enhancement progress bar. When it is full, it can increase the number of uses by 1. Currently, it can be stored up to 3 times. Although many pieces of intelligence are unknown, through quality and description, one can feel that this talent is definitely at the top of the line. This reinforcement should be very unusual. Looking at the weapon again, it is quite average. Weapon. A regular long sword, quality. Iron grade, evaluation. Long swords can be seen everywhere, and even some rust. It's a bit difficult to use to kill zombies, it's not very useful. When wielding, be careful not to pull them out of the zombie's body. Looking at the light curtain panel, Zhu Ting touched his chin and pondered for a moment. The quality of this long sword is indeed mediocre, and it is obviously not very useful for killing zombies. The sharpness is not enough, and it's probably not easy to chop a piece of pork. This is also an iron-level weapon, making Zhu Ting speechless. Now is the beginning of the apocalyptic wasteland world, although many are unknown. But Zhu Ting understands that there is absolutely no wrong in mastering the opportunity. Although this sword is really inferior, it is all iron-level weapons, indicating that the weapons obtained in the short term may be even worse than this. After all, when it comes to chatting, some people have obtained porcelain-level weapons, which sounds worse than their own. In order to gain an early advantage, I did not hesitate to use super reinforcement. Schwa. After a burst of colorful light flickered for 5 seconds with the long sword, a warning sound came on. When using super enhancement for the first time, the skill is temporarily upgraded to super evolution, and the enhanced items are evolved. When the colorful light dissipated, a long sword that had thickened and widened by a few centimeters was revealed. The whole body was dark red, and the sword body was always scattered with a rust-red color, shrouded in a mysterious veil. The blade, along with the hilt, is approximately 1.5 meters long and requires both hands to wield the sword in order to barely swing it. From this mysterious and unpredictable appearance, it makes people unwilling to approach, and no one underestimates its power. Zhu Ting looked at his attributes and suddenly widened his eyes. Weapon. Rust quality. Green jade grade effect. 1. Heavy. If the attack hits the ground, it generates a ranged shock wave. 2. Tetanus. Attack causes wound damage, reduces enemy healing effect, and continuously causes a large amount of toxic damage. Evaluation. The épée has no sharp edge and is exquisite but not exquisite. Hey, how come it's still poisonous, despicable person? On the light screen information panel, the data of the long sword has changed. From a quality iron level to a green jade level, although I don't know how many qualities have jumped, it doesn't seem easy. The super enhancement of SSS level talents is indeed powerful, but this time it also triggered a special effect for the first enhancement, which made Zhu Ting pay special attention. What is this super evolution? Is it the effect of talent upgrade? This is both a good and a bad thing, but the downside is that the next few super evolutions did not have such powerful effects. Fortunately, with this talent, there is still a higher limit in the future. Zhu Ting couldn't wait to mention this mysterious and terrifying rust, which was quite heavy. If he didn't have a little more strength, he probably wouldn't be able to pick it up. Picking up the rusty sword tip and facing upwards, the rusty red mist shrouded, revealing the ferocious sword body inside vaguely. That's right, it can be described as ferocious. Inside, there are actually rust stains, and the uneven rust makes the sword body look like demon claws. Just by looking at it, one can deeply appreciate the amazing destructive power of the long sword. The pure weight and strength, combined with the rust poison that looks terrifying, just don't know if it has any poisoning effect on this zombie. Bang! Bang! At this moment, a huge zombie walked towards us, causing the earth to tremble slightly. It should be when I strengthened the long sword just now, I was attracted by the enhanced colorful light. Outside the light curtain of the protected area, this massive obese zombie made a loud noise with the light curtain knocked by a large iron hammer. The two zombies next to it didn't notice and were directly smashed into meat foam with an iron hammer, giving them a strong and explosive feeling. Zhu Ting held a long sword and walked to the edge of the light curtain. He said calmly, "Hammer my protected area light curtain again, and I will cut you with one sword." With the absolute invincibility of the protected area and the blessing of powerful weapons, Zhu Ting is completely confident and fearless. Faced with Zhu Ting's contemptuous words, the obese mutant zombie seemed to understand and roared angrily, "Roar, it's disgusting and noisy, go to hell." Zhu Ting frowned, took a deep breath, and suddenly lifted the rust with lightning speed, like a phantom, leaping high. Then, holding the sword in both hands, he lifted the big sword with force and swung it down fiercely. The sword blade hit the fat zombie fiercely from top to bottom. With a loud bang, the ground seemed to shake, and a shockwave spread out, affecting the surrounding zombies. Their tattered clothes dissipated directly in this shockwave. Roar! The obese zombie hit by rust stared wide-eyed, a little incredulous, and then froze for a moment before frantically pounding Zhu Ting's protective shield, wanting to tear it apart alive. Zhu Ting was completely calm like watching a play, and even sat down to observe carefully. Now I need to judge the true strength of this sword based on its performance. Will zombies be infected with this tetanus toxin? A huge and terrifying incision was made on the obese body in front of him, which is definitely an effective attack, but it is definitely not deadly. But what's even more terrifying is that the wound is covered in rust marks, which make people tremble all over. Zhu Ting didn't rush or slow, so he sat on the ground and watched it knock on the glass. In fact, with the thickness of the rust, one can also strike this monster to death. But now that conditions permit, we still need to observe. About 10 minutes later, the manic and obese zombie suddenly began to twitch, and its cries changed from anger to pain. For another 10 seconds, it fell to the ground with a loud bang, unable to move again. This is the power of rust, much better than one's own imagination. Zhu Ting's eyes lit up, as if he was about to see a bright future. Congratulations to player Zhu Ting for completing his first elite-level mutant creature killing mission. Please enter your personal title. Note: completing special events can earn titles, which are important and difficult to replace. Please consider carefully. The system prompt brought Zhu Ting back to his senses from excitement, knowing that this zombie was powerful, but he didn't expect to be the first to kill it. Although I don't know what the title is, it should seem important, and there should be very few people who can obtain it. Future, Zhu Ting pondered for a moment and entered such a title. I originally thought of a domineering, terrifying, and malicious name that served as a deterrent. In the end, the opposite was true, and a title full of hope was given. Because he can strengthen himself and his talent can evolve, he hopes to bring himself a good future, which can also be considered as Zhu Ting's expectation for himself. Title confirmation, Future. World Notice. Congratulations to the Future of the 1211 Wasteland area for winning the world's elite monster's first kill. Reward. Within 10 days, the treasure rate of the 1211 waste soil area will increase by 50%. In the minds of everyone in the apocalyptic world of Wasteland, the first kill announcement sounded simultaneously, and 3 consecutive reminders shook everyone. Sleeping slot, won't it? I can't even kill an ordinary zombie with a card bug right now. If someone kills an elite, will they? Is this future special? Are they humans? I didn't expect zombies to be so hard to kill. I watch TV with one stick at a time. I beat a dozen heavy sticks in his mother, and only one can be killed when my hands are numb, and there is no profit at all. Yeah, it's so easy to kill in games and movies, how could it be so difficult? At first, I encountered a zombie wearing a bulletproof vest, a crowbar gifted to me as a beginner's gift. I fought with all my might for over 100 sticks before killing him. Now, my hands were completely powerless to pick up the weapon, and I only managed to kill an ordinary monster, even though I lost a piece of armor. What exactly is the origin of this person, and how could they kill an elite in such a short time? Perhaps I randomly got a good talent, the kind that is strong in the early stages and weak in the later stages. It's just an elite, and in the future, everyone will definitely be able to chop and kill this kind of monster. He's just a little too fast, not worth mentioning. By the way, I reported the bulletproof vest on it. Can we team up together? The one above is hilarious to me. I even crave a bulletproof vest, but I look down on those who kill elites. I also brushed a zombie here that should be an elite level zombie. It looks like it hasn't even broken its skin since I hit it, barely causing damage, and it can quickly heal. To be honest, I can't believe who can kill elites now. By the way, please help me, coordinate XXX, I'm afraid I'll be eaten by this elite zombie in 3 days. I don't care how to change the area, I need to go to the 1211 waste soil area. Each channel in the wasteland area instantly exploded, engaging in such conversations. Only the 1211 theater channel is thriving on zhaosuiyuan.com. Everyone changed their attack from just licking Lan Fei to licking Zhu Ting, and their words were basically the same. Future big shot, do you need a little brother? Future leader, I am a healing talent, seeking to form a team. On the one hand, the future leader is so strong that he still lacks your healing skills. He definitely needs my buff-type auxiliary talent that adds output ability. The future leader is looking for a group. Future tycoon, I can't do anything, but I can lick it. I've licked it from childhood to adulthood, keep it safe for you to listen to comfortably. Do you lack a licking dog? It's our profession. It took a long time for each channel to slowly recover. Because everyone knows that it's time to race against time, no matter how much nonsense you say, it's better to seize this precious newbie protection period. The chat area has gradually become normal and important information is being exchanged. The disclosure of various information about the terrifying and powerful mutated creatures has plunged countless people into panic and fear. Some people are trapped in desperate environments seeking help, while others are sharing their successful hunting experiences. Undoubtedly, countless people have begun to pay attention to Zhu Teng, the elite first killer. It takes time to witness whether it is a fleeting luck king, a powerful special talent in the early stages, or a true powerhouse. Undoubtedly, the area where Zhu Teng is located is full of joy, firstly for having such a war god in his own area, and secondly for obtaining a 50% treasure rate, which will greatly improve their survival rate. Zhu Teng also noticed a lot of useful information during the chat, which he kept in mind and would be of great help to his future survival. Congratulations, the world's first kill winner. Your personal reward has been distributed and you have received the reward, divine question. God asked. Get the right to ask me a question once. Chapter 3. Who are you? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, looking at the prop in his hand, Zhu Teng fell into contemplation. This is the reward given for the world's first kill, but it seems a bit shabby and doesn't improve combat at all. But it seems to be extremely important and crucial, as it already belongs to the concept level props. What do you want to ask me? Based on the prop description, this should be a system or even a higher level existence than the system. So any key intelligence that can be obtained will definitely bring huge profits in the long run. Therefore, no one can guarantee that their question is the most perfect. How to survive, tell me the way to permanently survive. These types of questions are aimed directly at the core, because if they are too direct, Zhu Teng doesn't feel like he will get the real answer. After all, if a true answer is obtained, it is likely to directly cause the newly established waste soil of the system to collapse completely. For example, you can survive without being killed and, you can survive permanently, are these nonsensical answers to evade the past. Such a precious opportunity, Zhu Teng dare not gamble on the bottom line of the system. What should I do next? Tell me what should I do most recently. Tell me where is the largest shelter in this area. This kind of question is relatively much better, just asking how to do it better in the next step. Although it is possible to get a very insincere answer, at least the probability is much lower. Perhaps this kind of questioning is the best. Where are my friends? Where are my parents? Of course, you can also ask these questions. Use the concept level existence of the system to obtain the position of family and friends. This is purely based on emotions and will not destroy the entire wasteland game. It is inevitable that the most correct answer will be obtained. Zhu Teng didn't think about this issue because he had a deep emotional attachment to his parents. But rather, he was abandoned by his parents at a very young age and grew up in multiple adoption families and welfare institutions, which can be said to have been very difficult along the way. Therefore, Zhu Teng has always wanted to find his biological parents and ask why he abandoned him, almost becoming the biggest obsession in his life. Rationality still allows Zhu Teng to give up this kind of inquiry. He has not yet been extravagant enough to waste such a precious opportunity to ask such a question. However, it is still common to see people searching for their elderly parents in regional chats. After a regional chat, there is also a very mysterious thing. The entire 1211 wasteland area surprisingly has no elderly or children, which makes many people, including Zhu Teng, believe that the reason behind this is definitely hiding important information. Congratulations to the Yen Emperor in the wasteland area of 3869 for winning the second kill of the global elite monster. Reward. Within 9 days, the treasure acquisition rate of number 3869 waste soil area will increase by 50%. Congratulations to the Blue Blade in the wasteland area of 6882 for winning the global elite monster triple kill. Reward. Within 8 days, the treasure rate of waste soil area 6882 will increase by 50%. Congratulations to the Red Blade in the wasteland area of 6882 for winning the 4 kills of global elite monsters. Reward. Within 7 days, the treasure rate of waste soil area 6882 will increase by 50%. Just as Zhu Teng was thinking, the system beeps kept ringing, which shocked him quite a bit. Just shocked, then withdrew his expression. I, as an unknown person in the past, could have achieved the first kill. With so many people around the world, there are definitely many who have the opportunity to expand their base. Therefore, it is not uncommon to see a series of killing records. Until the end of the first 10 prompts, there were no further kill prompts. It can be seen that the first kill reward for elite monsters is currently the top 10. Although it is unclear what the title is for, currently there are only 10 people with titles, including Zhu Ting himself. 6882 waste soil area, occupy 2 places at the same time, it's interesting. And from the title, the relationship between the 2 people is not ordinary. Couple. Father and son. Brother and sisters. Or something else. This series of information only interests Zhu Teng. Being able to deal with 2 elite monsters simultaneously is truly powerful. While Zhu Teng was still pondering, another voice came from the sky. It's just that this time it's not the sound of the system, but the alternation of one man and one woman. Hello everyone, we are Blue Blade and Red Blade. Just now, we killed 2 elite monsters and obtained a prop called Shenwen and a prop called Shenyu, respectively. The divine questioning prop can ask any question about the system, and the divine language can be transmitted once around the world. Considering that it is for the benefit of all beings, we have ultimately decided to request a wasteland manual and distribute it to everyone through the divine language. After the opening of various regional channels in the future, please come to our shelter. We hope to establish the largest and happiest shelter with everyone and survive in this wasteland. Next is the manual content, first. This situation surprised Zhu Teng and everyone. You should know that this is the end of the world, the end of the world, the end of the world. Saying it a few times is the end of the world. When it comes to the end of the world, what are those keywords? Kill the Virgin Mary first, there is no law, no order, power is king, deceit and self-interest. Every word indicates that everyone should be the most independent wolf and do the worst thing. As long as it is beneficial to oneself, regardless of whether it is at the expense of others or stabbing oneself in the back, it is all just right. Even if there is no intention of harming others, there are very few people who truly selflessly help. Just now, Lan Fei promised to help others on the channel, based on the premise of supporting himself as the king. Let's first turn the cake into something else. This red and blue double-edged sword is great. It's such a precious opportunity to directly disclose it all for free, which really surprises everyone. Zhu Teng's heart was simply shouting, do you know that even if you draw a cake and then make it public, it can still be considered that? This is directly made public, and it can only be said that this is the true Virgin Mary. The intelligence collected for nothing, don't waste it. Zhu Teng doesn't want to worry too much, so quickly collect all this information. Even if you can't finish reading it now, you can slowly read it in the future. There is a lot of information that is quite important, such as equipment level classification, which is clearly defined here. Paper, porcelain, iron, silver, gold, platinum, black jade, green jade, yellow jade, red jade, diamond. The level division is a bit messy, I don't know why we don't use A B C D E F and other divisions, it seems to have some deeper meaning. And the highest level given in the manual is diamonds, but there are still many unknown levels in the future, and diamonds are not the highest vertex. The weapon in Zhu Ting's hand is green jade, which is indeed several levels higher than the current mainstream equipment. After having a clear positioning, Zhu Ting felt even more relaxed, at least now he is much ahead of others. Zhu Ting himself is not the kind of person who harms others, and even in the end of the world, he does not want to engage in acts of killing and profiteering. But the heart of defense is indispensable. The true hard truth is that one's own strength is strong. When facing enemies, one will not be soft-hearted and will decisively kill them. There is still a lot of other information in the manual, including some subsequent developments, which are listed on zhaozuiyuan.com. I can understand why the red and blue double blades have made these public according to the manual. It can only be said from the manual that this wasteland world does not seem to encourage complete individualism. Not forming a group will reduce the likelihood of survival to an extremely low level. As for the specific content, it still needs to be read and digested slowly. After saving all the contents of the manual, Zhu Ting was satisfied and temporarily closed it. I already have some thoughts in my mind about my own divine question. Take out the divine question prop and choose to use it. A dialog box immediately appeared in front of me, with a microphone icon constantly flashing in the middle, waiting for Zhu Ting's question. Who are you? 3 words slowly came out of Zhu Ting's mouth, and even the system seemed to be stunned. There was no response for a long time, as if savoring Zhu Ting's question. After waiting for a long time, the system's voice sounded in Zhu Ting's ear, and the same text appeared on the panel, making it convenient for Zhu Ting to save. I am God, I am human, and I am also you. At the same time as receiving the answer, other system information is displayed on the panel of the waste soil screen. The system's curiosity towards you has increased by 20%, for the system's answer, it must have been unexpected for Zhu Ting. A mysterious sentence that leaves people confused and unsure of what riddle people would say. However, overall, Zhu Ting was very satisfied with this result. Although it still kept him in a fog, it seemed that he could vaguely see the secret under the fog. Although it is only elusive and cannot be captured, at least there is a glimmer of direction and hope. As the title I have given myself, the future. At this moment, Zhu Ting saw the future. As for the curiosity behind it, Zhu Ting completely doesn't understand. We can only leave it there for now, maybe there will be results in the future, we can't wait. Chapter 4. Serum. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. After reading the manual sent by red and blue double blades, Zhu Ting believed that the possibility was extremely high. He regained his senses and continued to gaze at the surrounding zombie monsters. They still wander aimlessly around, with the existence of protected areas, so there is no need to worry about their safety at the moment. But 3 days later will be the real disaster, so I must start adapting to the battle and consider the future development. According to the information in the manual, killing monsters will slowly accumulate one's own experience and attributes. The property panel only displays to single digits, but actually hides 5 decimal places behind it. Only when rounding up to an integer, will a point be added to the panel. That is to say, as long as you kill monsters, your strength will grow to a certain extent, but this growth may be so small that it can be ignored. Only by accumulating a certain amount can one suddenly look back and discover a qualitative change from their previous self. The current level is not very useful, at least it can be used in the next stage. These are still to be discussed later. The D.level natural disaster in 25 days is extremely terrifying, and there is a high possibility of a complete annihilation of the entire region. Therefore, the first important thing now is to enhance personal strength, and the second is to find reliable partners. Ideally, the whole region can unite together. Of course, in this post-apocalyptic wasteland, it is difficult to achieve this ideal situation, so at least having a reliable team and improving one's own strength are the two most important aspects. There are also multiple ways to obtain treasures. Killing monsters and searching for treasures in the wild are all possible ways to obtain them. The treasure dropped by a monster will conform to the logic of the monster type. Killing a dog-like beast will drop a large sword. Unless there is a special reward in the system, this situation is basically impossible to occur. Zombie-type treasure drops are probably some basic armor and weapons, as well as some consumables. For example, if someone in the previous channel killed a zombie wearing a bulletproof vest, it would be normal to drop a bulletproof vest. This equipment belongs to the iron level armor and has quite good performance. There are more types of consumables, and various recovery drugs and food may be carried and dropped. Due to Zhu Teng, the drop rate in 1211 district has increased by a full 50%, greatly enhancing people's chances of survival. According to intelligence, the most important consumable for zombie drops is zombie virus serum. The strength of the zombie itself is average, but the trouble lies in ensuring no damage when fighting against the zombie. Once bitten or scratched, if not dealt with in a timely manner, the injured person will also turn into a zombie after a certain period of time. This serum, as the name suggests, is an antidote and one of the most important supplies for future survival. So start by killing zombies, while enhancing your strength and searching for items. Zhu Teng has a plan in his heart, and he currently has a good start. He will not waste this opportunity. With both hands raised high and rusted, he spotted a nearby zombie and roared angrily as he rushed out. This roar also aims to attract as many zombies as possible, as there is a protected area and it does not move. It is the correct approach to attract hatred appropriately. Quickly rushing out made the mindless zombies appear stunned, and equally angry, they rushed towards Zhu Teng. Looking at the grim-looking zombie, Zhu Teng still had some panic in his heart. He took a strong breath to calm himself down and smashed the rust hard at the zombie. With a loud bang, the rust split open the zombie and hit it heavily on the ground, causing the shockwave to spread around. Just now, I didn't observe this shockwave carefully because I was fighting against elite monsters. I only know that the recent wave dispersed the worn-out clothing of the zombie, but I am not sure about its specific destructive power. Now it seems that the power of the shockwave is weaker than imagined, with almost no lethality, which disappointed Zhu Teng, who originally thought he had obtained the range skill. However, there are also surprises in other aspects, that is, the shockwave control effect is very good. Faced with these shaky walking zombies, the shockwave can make them stand unsteadily and pause for a long time before continuing to attack. Looking at the zombies hit by rust again, they were completely killed in one blow. Although the blade is not sharp, its terrifying weight does not require any sharpness. This is the true épée without a sharp edge, with great craftsmanship and no craftsmanship. So much so that even without the rust poison taking effect, Zhu Teng could directly kill the zombies, which is his greatest confidence now. It's just that the sword is heavy and difficult to swing, and the movements are still a bit clumsy. Faced with these terrifying numbers of zombies, we dare not easily engage in large-scale actions. They can only move around the protected area, breaking down each zombie one by one, and their efficiency is dozens of times higher than others. Suddenly, Zhu Teng thought of something important. He had been studying various intelligence and experimenting with various output abilities, but he had forgotten such an important thing. Returning to the protected area, I saw the body of the elite monster. It's normal for ordinary zombies to have a low explosion rate, after all, this thing is everywhere. If the explosion rate is high, it's okay. Just now, Zhu Teng killed several in a row, but he didn't harvest any items. But this elite monster shouldn't be doing nothing. Thinking of this, looking at the nauseating piece of meat on the ground, Zhu Teng couldn't help but frown. In fact, Zhu Teng had a great tolerance for dirt, disorder, and nausea due to his difficult life since childhood. But facing the current situation, there is also resistance in my heart. That fat zombie, already full of worrying and rotting fat, was swaying around. After being killed, these fatty meats exploded and turned into a puddle of fatty minced meat on the ground. Dark, soft, and emitting a foul odor, anyone who is normal will feel resistant and unwilling to search. Taking a deep breath, Zhu Teng was mentally prepared and reached into the minced meat to explore. As soon as I touched these fat, it was a psychological resistance that arose. I panicked and kept groping inside, eventually touching some objects. I quickly took them out and placed them next to me. Continue to reach out and explore, and continue to take out the items. After confirming repeatedly that there was really nothing, I breathed a long sigh of relief and took out my hands and kept swinging them, throwing the dirt on top aside. Because there is no water source, my hands are still dirty. Don't worry about these for now, focus more on the objects on the ground. There are 3 items placed on the ground, 1 heart and 2 test tubes. After picking it up, I found that each item had a faint stream of light, representing its elegance. After some thought, Zhu Ting knew that this was the first effect of his talent. Any item that passes through one's own hands will improve its quality, and this dim stream of light should mean high quality. According to the talent introduction, any item that passes through one's own hands will increase this effect. It seems that in the future, it's possible to make a small fortune using this method, but of course, these are all part of the story. Powerful Mutant Heart. The powerful heart of a mutated zombie provides a constant source of vitality to the body. After eating, permanently increase physical fitness by 3 points and reduce speed by 3 points. Zhu Ting frowned, as if this thing was only used to adjust attributes and was of no use to him at the moment. The world's martial arts are only fast and unbreakable. I don't want to exchange speed for defense. If I go to the book garden www.zhaoshuyuan.com, it will only become a sandbag. Of course, this item also has its own purpose, and for some teams, it is definitely an extremely popular presence. It is still necessary to instantly create a meat shield with twice the strength. Zombie Virus Serum. Injected before zombieization to relieve the zombie virus and immunize against it within the next month. Good thing, this is currently the most precious consumable, and Zhu Ting naturally understands its significance. Carefully place it in the space of the bracelet, it's not time to inject it yet. Instant Healing Potion, Poison. After drinking it, it instantly heals a moderate degree of wound and is poisoned within the next 2 hours, resulting in negative states such as dizziness and nausea. A crucial life-saving consumable, Zhu Ting has also been following the chat channel. It can be seen that the healing drugs discovered so far are all slowly healing wounds. This should be the first item that instantly heals in the 1211 waste soil area, and its value is self-evident. Zhu Ting was quite satisfied with the 3 items and was eager to exchange them with others for more precious items. Apart from keeping the zombie serum for urgent use, Zhu Ting plans to sell the other 2 items. The powerful mutated heart doesn't need to be mentioned much, it is an item that can only be used in teams. The negative effects of the instant healing potion are still quite deadly for this Lone Ranger, assuming they are used when facing difficulties. Even if it can instantly heal wounds, dealing with monsters in a negative state next is like drinking poison to quench thirst. Therefore, this prop is also a team prop. Now is the time when these items are most valuable. If you can sell them early, try to sell them as early as possible. Elite-level monsters can explode these items, indicating that there will definitely be a considerable output in the near future. Although it may still be precious by then, it will never be as valuable as it is now. Chapter 5. I want to be a good person, but sorry. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, saving the items, Zhu Ting began to constantly hunt down zombies. In just half a day, he almost killed all the zombies around his protected area. Zombies kept wandering around, but their killing speed was far behind Zhu Ting's. Zhu Tingdi is located in a grassland with no one else around. If anyone were to be surprised, it would be as if Zhu Teng and everyone had experienced a different disaster. Everyone put in a lot of effort to hold on to a zombie and hate it, fearing that the zombie would grab the gap and snatch the blade with bare hands. Only by exerting maximum force more than 10 times can one barely kill a zombie. Basically, killing 2 or 3 animals will exhaust you and you will sit on the ground panting heavily to rest and recover. Zhu Teng could infer the situation of others from the chat without any surprise. This is the true end of the world, and it is normal to have widespread death. I believe that in 3 days, at least half of the people will definitely die, which is the most conservative estimate. Perhaps this situation will occur in less than 3 days. Zhu Teng looked around and knew that a very serious problem was about to arise, and the safety zone was not omnipotent. Gollum accompanied by the cries from his stomach, Zhu Teng lifted his head and gently raised the corner of his mouth. It was time to go out and hunt the zombies. That's right, the first disaster everyone faces is not zombie attacks, but hunger and thirst. 3 days will definitely not starve to death, but it will definitely lower one's willpower and attack intensity. And even if you can't die from hunger, the threat of thirst is far greater than hunger. Therefore, this protected area is by no means omnipotent. To survive, one must actively leave the protected area. One is for growth, and the other is for the acquisition of resources. It has been 8 hours since the arrival of the end of the world, and through the bracelet, it can be inferred that the time of arrival was 8 o'clock in the morning, and it is now 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know if it's winter or summer here. What time does the sun start to set? Zhu Teng glanced at the sun in the sky and decided to explore outward. Feeling the strength of my own abilities, I am unwilling to rest on this small 5 square meter grassland tonight. Although it has absolute safety, it is uncomfortable in all aspects and can even make the stomach hungry. During this period, I hunted zombies and obtained some food. These zombies were humans before they died, so carrying some food is considered normal. But these foods are all influenced by zombies and emit a foul odor. If it weren't for the last resort, Zhu Teng would definitely not want to speak up. Set a goal for yourself to go out and search for food and water, while also seeking shelter. If you can find a suitable shelter, then use it as your temporary base. If you haven't found it by sunset, then return to the safe zone and rest. With such a resolution, Zhu Teng stepped out of the safe zone on which others relied for survival. According to the chat channel observation, no one has stepped out of the 1211 abandoned soil area so far. The initially high-profile blue fly is now also living in a safe zone. Of course, there may also be other strong individuals who did not speak out during the chat. However, Lan Fei has a guarantee that after resting early the next morning, he will step out of the safe zone and try to explore outside. Send some food and water to nearby people and provide assistance as much as possible. He also extended an invitation to Zhu Teng, hoping that the two of them could work together, or other strong players were also welcome to join the team. Save as many people as possible to withstand future natural disasters. I don't know if the future brothers are on the chat channel. I would like to invite you and other experts. I hope we can work together to save the brothers in the 1211 wasteland area. You have also read the Waste Soil Manual in detail, and what happens later definitely requires our unity. The more people there are, the more likely they are to get through those disasters. Or rather, in the future, brothers have confidence and can face those difficulties alone. I advise brothers not to be arrogant at night. I agree that you have strong abilities, but future disasters are definitely not something that one person can withstand. Zhu Teng was somewhat surprised by this invitation. From the beginning of Lan Fei's pretentious appearance, Zhu Teng labeled his character as, "I am the only one, arrogant, and somewhat kind." Zhu Teng is aware of his existence and is likely a threat to people like Lan Fei. Although it is possible that people cooperate sincerely, in such an environment, Zhu Teng dare not gamble. So I still pretended not to see this invitation and did what I should do. Nowadays, everyone only knows their own title and doesn't know who they really are. In a few days, Zhu Teng is confident that with his outstanding performance, he will definitely become famous throughout the region, or even the world, and his true identity will also be well known to everyone. So take advantage of these low-key days and grow well again. Leaving the safety zone, Zhu Teng didn't know which way to move forward. There is no map of the game world in the bracelet, and there are no landmarks around. Looking around, Zhu Teng is lost in thought. This is a grassland, with several roads passing through not far away. So it indicates that this place should not be far from the city. Follow the road to either stay away from the city and go to a more desolate place, or quickly reach a city. After some thought, Zhu Teng took out a dagger and threw it into the sky. When the dagger falls and the tip of the blade points towards it, move towards it. The dagger is an iron-level weapon that drops when killing zombies. It doesn't have any special attributes and has a very high drop rate. Rather than talking about a dagger, its item description is written as a flying knife, indicating that in this apocalyptic world, one should have the ability to use hidden weapons. The first time it is thrown, the blade tip is inserted into the ground. For the second time, throw it up and point to the side without a road at Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. Throw it up for the third time, pointing towards the other side without a path. The fourth time it was thrown up, the blade tip was inserted into the ground again. For the fifth time, the sharp point of the blade was inserted into the ground again. Damn it, why don't you play with me? Zhu Teng cursed helplessly, and after 6 high throws, he finally pointed in a direction. The sixth time I only pointed the way, it's obscene. Forget it, go to the other side. Taking a glance at the direction pointed at, Zhu Teng resolutely chose the other side and ran without any lingering attachment. Rust is now stored in the space backpack of the wristband and will only be removed when in use. After all, this thing is too heavy and inconvenient to carry. This thing is strong, but it always feels like it's not suitable for me. When it stabilizes, try more weapons, such as this dagger, which may be quite suitable for me. Zhu Teng looked at the weapon in his backpack and murmured to himself. Although I appreciate the unparalleled power of a country, I still prefer various lightweight characters or weapons in various games and battles. Flexibility and versatility are always my first choice. When encountering a zombie, take out your weapon and kill it. After killing it, put it away and speed up your journey. During these 2 hours, Zhu Teng kept walking far along the road. On the road, I also saw some other people hiding in the protected area and heard someone calling for help, but they were all ignored by Zhu Teng. I don't hate being a good person, I even want to be a good person. But I'm not a bad person. I need to make sure I'm strong first, and then when I encounter someone in need of help, those who can help will definitely help. But now, as someone who is racing against time, I don't have the qualifications to help these people. It seems to be saying it to oneself, to strengthen one's beliefs in the heart. Zhu Teng just glanced at these trembling people and left straight away. Chapter 6. Beyond the waste soil, what the future will follow. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, looking at the time on the bracelet, it's 6 p.m. in the afternoon. The sunset was gradually setting, and there was still no trace of the city's shadow, which made Zhu Teng gradually restless. Although there is an expectation in my heart that I cannot find the target, I will return to the safe zone to rest and depart tomorrow morning. But Zhu Teng's personality belongs to a person who doesn't like to give up, gritting his teeth and continuing to move forward. Finally, with the afterglow of the sunset, several houses ahead appeared in Zhu Teng's view. This is not a city, not even a village. There are a total of 4 or 5 houses located in front and behind, the vast majority of which are 2-story buildings. The material used is reinforced concrete, the iron door is tightly closed, and the windows are basically intact. In the distance, you can see several people hiding in the protected area, and their positions should be able to notice these houses. But they didn't even have the courage to explore here, they just hid in the safe zone and nibbled on the stinky food. Zhu Ting cautiously advanced towards these houses, making as little noise as possible. After turning around, I found that there were no zombies here, probably attracted by the people in the safe zone. After carefully lurking around for more than 10 minutes and confirming that there was no noise inside, he quietly opened one of the windows and slipped in. The room is relatively tidy, but quite dirty. There is a thick layer of dust everywhere, and a large number of spider webs have formed. Everyone is transferred to this unfamiliar world together, not their original world. Zhu Ting constantly pays attention to the decorations and conditions inside the house, all in order to obtain more information. What kind of world is this? Where are the original people in this world? Why did the apocalyptic crisis break out? How long has it been since the disappearance of people in this world? These are all things that Zhu Ting wants to understand. There are too many mysteries, and each one seems unimportant, but Zhu Ting believes it is crucial. Based on the conversation, it is only natural for everyone to believe that everything here is just the end of the world in film and television works. The underlying reason is that there is no need to think about it. But the secret of the entire world's core is generally not of concern to everyone, except for Zhu Ting, who urgently wants to know. The doors and windows are relatively intact, although there are many gaps and holes. When humans disappeared, there was no fighting here. The city should better reflect the situation at that time, and specific observations should also be made within the city. From the dust in the room, it is estimated that this place has been idle for at least a year before it can look like this. However, there are not yet a large number of wild-growing plants outside, so the disappearance of humans in this world should not exceed 10 years. According to Zhu Ting's previous hobbies, if humans disappear for more than 10 years, the entire world should quickly be dominated by plants. Of course, since there is a system and a god, everything can be adjusted. Zhu Ting just paid a little attention in his heart and didn't dwell too much. From the files on the desktop, it can be seen that this used to be a meteorological monitoring station. No wonder there were only a few buildings, and usually only a few staff members rotated. Zhu Ting quickly found the duty room and tried to turn on the light, but it turned on. Startled, Zhu Ting quickly closed down, afraid of attracting zombies outside. People in this world have disappeared for at least 1 or 2 years, and power plants should have been out of operation for a long time, and there shouldn't be electricity. It seems like it's just a random setting by God, and everything I think is just wild imagination. Zhu Ting's doubts were dispelled a lot. After all, the large scale transfer of all personnel was already very bizarre, and everything that happened was not surprising. The more you think, the bigger the mistake may become. You shouldn't focus your energy on these things now. Continue to search around and search for many items that have appeared. I just don't know the shelf life and whether it can be consumed. I remember some people were born in a supermarket in the city and received a large amount of supplies. But I didn't hear him say later whether these supplies could be used or whether they could be eaten with confidence. However, it is estimated that in this post-apocalyptic era, even expired food is not a concern for everyone, and it is still extremely popular. After all, expired regular food is much stronger than the foul-smelling food obtained from zombies. Find a bag of potato chips and open it. The text on it is also recognized by Zhu Ting, making Zhu Ting unable to help but mutter again. Can it be said that this is the blue star where I am located? But the entire population immediately shuffled their birthplaces. After arriving in the city, first look for a store to see if there is a world map or something, and you can basically determine whether you are on the blue star. Continuing to turn his gaze back to the potato chips, he didn't smell anything. Pick up one and put it in your mouth. Biting it doesn't make a crisp sound, but it's like being damp with only partial chewing force. And it is also accompanied by a faint sour taste, which can be tasted as slightly spoiled. Wrinkled his brow, put potato chips and other similar snacks in his backpack, and then opened the nearby can. Generally speaking, canned food must have a higher shelf life. Since the potato chips are only slightly spoiled, this one can definitely be enjoyed normally. Open a canned beef and taste the large pieces of beef inside. As expected, it can be consumed normally without any spoiled taste. I found a few clean bottled water bottles again, and there was no problem taking a sip. Immediately drink one bottle at a time to dissipate the fatigue of the day. Although they have acquired the same ability as cheats, they are still not invincible. Just starting much higher than others and growing much faster. If there is such an advantage, and Zhu Ting cannot do his best, he will feel ashamed for himself. So the most important thing now is to improve one's own strength. Today is also quite tiring, and I estimate that the progress can be more than 10 days compared to others, but everything must not be taken lightly. I hope to find a town tomorrow, and I also hope to have better growth tomorrow. Zhu Ting lay in bed, counting today's gains like this. The attribute points have not increased at all. It seems that improving attributes by killing monsters is a very long process. However, if we can improve so smoothly, soon everyone will become superhumans, and the system will definitely limit our growth significantly. Apart from the drop of the elite, there are also other items. There are many tattered armor, such as safety helmets, bulletproof vests, rubber gloves, etc., which are common items in daily life. The judgment levels are all 3 levels of paper, porcelain, and iron, and it can be seen that what is seen in daily life is this level. There are many flying knives among them, and Zhu Ting likes to play with them as daggers. This lightweight and agile weapon is very suitable for oneself. Perhaps when looking for new weapons in the future, one can consider this direction. There are also some consumables, some that slowly recover from injuries, physical strength, and mental strength, each without any special presence. These obtained items all have dim flowing light, which has been enhanced by their own ordinary enhancements. One of the items displays a specific number, giving Zhu Ting a relatively clear comparison. Potential stimulating potion, zombie virus. Infected with zombie virus after use, and increases one's various numerical values by 105% within 1 hour. When immune to zombie viruses or toxins with high resistance, using this item has no effect. Such a rigid prop, find Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com to make everyone love and hate it. I saw many people popping up this thing on the chat bar and cursing loudly. Everyone knows that being infected with the zombie virus is equivalent to death, and the value of serum cannot be obtained by ordinary people. Zhu Ting has serum and the confidence to use this prop, which is one aspect. More importantly, on the other hand, others have increased the value by 100%, while Zhu Ting's item has increased by 105%. This indicates that Zhu Ting's ordinary enhancement can increase the strength of the item by about 5%. There are too few sample references, and looking at this only sample, it can be considered as a rough understanding of one's own abilities. Although the amplitude is not high, it can be strengthened with just a touch, which can be considered better than nothing. The natural quality of those restorative potions and equipment will also be at least as high. The more crucial super enhancement skill has an increased progress bar, with a sword-like icon under its own talent. This sword icon is all black, and after killing the monster, it will be filled with a golden color from the hilt forward. Today, even killing ordinary zombies and elite monsters has filled in about 20% of the progress, and the speed is relatively fast. Tomorrow, we will continue to accelerate our monster killing speed and strive to accumulate in the shortest possible time. Let's see how much normal super enhancements can increase items. Night has fallen, and the first night in this wasteland has arrived. Zhu Ting lay on a comfortable bed, resting and waiting for tomorrow's arrival. And the others were curled up in the safe zone, most of them hungry and thirsty, eating stinky food and water, worrying about themselves for tomorrow, and even more worrying about themselves in 3 days. On the first night of this wasteland, some happily and some sorrowfully passed quietly. Chapter 7. Solitude and Cooperation, which is the true future. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. The next morning, with a slight dawn, Zhu Ting opened his sleepy eyes from the bed. Opening the wasteland light screen with the wristband, I saw that the time was displayed at exactly 6 o'clock in the morning, and the date next to it also jumped to the second day of the wasteland calendar. On the 25th, there will be a terrifying wave of monsters. Thinking of this, Zhu Ting stood up straight from the bed and immediately entered a state of readiness for today's battle. The window opened a crack and looked out, while the people walking around were still hiding in the protected area. Most of them are lying on the ground sleeping, while a small portion have already gotten up and started killing zombies. It seems that there are still hard-working people, but of course, it may also be simply because they can't sleep well. After all, under the pressure of this environment, anxiety inevitably accompanies everyone. In the distance, someone was also seen dead outside the protected area, not even turning into a zombie, but being torn to pieces. On one side of the protected area, blood splattered all over, and some bodies scattered around, displaying the brutality of the scene at that time. This shouldn't be sleeping dishonestly at night, rolling out of the safe zone. It's really miserable. Looking at the person who died tragically, Zhu Ting couldn't think of a second possibility. In this post-apocalyptic world, I never expected that the habit of sleeping dishonestly could become a fatal injury. Check and pack everything you can eat and drink into the backpack of the bracelet. I don't know how far the road ahead is, and I don't even know if I can find a place to rest tonight. This is a highly risky journey, and the initial adventure is often fraught with crises due to too much uncertainty. At this moment, chat channels continue to flood. There are 15,000 people in this area, and most of them can only fill their fears through crazy conversations due to excessive panic. Looking at other people who were equally down and out, I felt a moment of comfort. Similarly, a large-scale family recognition activity has also started in the chat bar, searching for their former relatives and friends, hoping to quickly gather and form a small team that can be trusted after the protection period. Zhu Ting himself is not interested in these contents. Due to his family background, he doesn't have many relatives, and his work is not satisfactory. He also doesn't want to contact those people. There are actually 3 or 5 friends, let's look for them later. But Zhu Ting keenly captured a crucial piece of information, which is that the people in this area actually have a very familiar network of relationships, almost all of whom have relatives and friends in this 1211 wasteland area. You should know that there are billions of people around the world, and even after removing the elderly and children, 150000 are still a minority among them. It's normal to find 1 or 2 friends with each other, but if there are a considerable number of people who are familiar with each other, then there's a problem. This indicates that the distribution of areas was not completely random, and it was likely that people nearby were transmitted together. Which city are everyone from? Zhu Ting also inquired during the chat, but others knew about the future and did not know his own name. So, under Zhu Ting's inquiry, everyone responded one after another. More than 90% of the people here come from the same city as themselves, which further reinforces Zhu Ting's speculation. Most people may feel that even so, there is no need to interpret God's meaning excessively. But Zhu Ting doesn't think so. It is possible that God had such thoughts intentionally. Either this so-called God is lazy and teleports to nearby areas. Either intentionally doing so, hoping to bring more familiar people to the wasteland together and strengthen cooperation between people. If it is the former, then there is no significance for exploration. If it is the latter, it indicates that the design intention of this wasteland apocalypse is likely to hope for people to cooperate, rather than the pure selfish and harmful thinking of the general apocalypse. Do you think I really need to find some teammates, but I really don't want to cooperate? Zhu Ting couldn't help but sigh. He didn't like to interact with people and didn't know how to deal with them. If one enters a group, the question of what role to play has been a concern for Zhu Ting since a long time ago. Once again, let go of these thoughts in your mind and continue moving forward. Stepping out of the house, the people in the safety zone noticed Zhu Ting, who dared to walk outside, shouting excitedly and dancing to catch Zhu Ting's attention. "Who are you, big shot? Are you a future big shot, a blue flying big shot, or some other big shot? Take me with you, little brother. I'm willing to be a cow and a horse for you. Boss, you can definitely kill zombies as you please, right? I have a divine skill that increases teammate speed by 10%. Can you take me with you? Big brother, little sister doesn't have much ability, but her massage skills are top-notch, which can ensure you feel comfortable and relaxed at night." Faced with these flatteries along the way, Zhu Ting completely ignored them and kept running along the road. The number of zombies on the road is not small, but under the threat of Zhu Ting's rusty sword, it is simply like chopping melons and vegetables, completely disregarded. This rusty sword was originally quite difficult to wield, but now it has become more convenient, as if one's strength has also increased significantly. The manual also states that in addition to killing monsters, using skills, wielding weapons, etc. will increase panel values. Although there are still no changes on Zhu Ting's personal panel at present, the ones that have changed are still the hidden decimal points at the back. Roar. As we were moving forward, a deafening sound sounded. It should be an elite, Zhu Ting thought calmly as he listened to the voice. Because I have witnessed and killed an elite monster, I am now quite calm. Looking in the direction of the sound, there is a small forest ahead. It appears to be a place for artificial planting and harvesting of wood, as the locations where the trees grow are too neat and uniform, without the chaotic appearance of wild grass and trees. And among the trees, a swaying fat man slowly walked towards this side. Yes, it's exactly the same as the fat zombie that he killed. It's still so disgusting. Zhu Ting made a decisive decision and immediately took the initiative to rush towards the forest. This is the reason why Zhu Ting is truly powerful, and it is also his ultimate advantage in being able to climb and roll in this society without any support, with extremely fast reaction speed and flexible mind. At the moment of seeing this monster, the battle plan was already in mind. Without the protection of the protected area this time, it is impossible for him to be infected with rust and poison and wait for his sudden death. Rust is too cumbersome, the closing action is slow, and it is easy to have too many flaws after attacking. Therefore, in order to be safe, the presence of rust and poison is really necessary. It cannot be cut to death with a single blow, as it is too dangerous. The opponent's body is so huge, so fighting in the forest is definitely the best choice. Of course, there is also a drawback in the forest, which is that the rusty sword used by oneself is also difficult to wield. So Zhu Ting has only one goal, which is to still only seize the opportunity to cut a knife and use the advantage of the space backpack to instantly put rust inside, reducing the number of closing moves. The next task is to run. As long as you can dodge in the forest for more than 10 minutes, you can wait for this monster to be poisoned alive. The plan is perfect, start implementing it. Zhu Ting, who ran into the forest, directly took out rust from his backpack. Without even the monster's reaction, he was forcefully chopped from top to bottom. The monster let out a more angry roar and immediately grabbed Zhu Ting with both hands, trying to crush him. But Zhu Ting also quickly put away the rust and took a side step to the right, hiding behind a tree. A flurry of operations, although just a few simple actions, produced an exceptionally effective effect. The first step of the initial damage and the second step of widening the distance are completed one after another, and finding Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com is exactly the same as planned. The next step is to hide and let Zhu Ting relax a bit. There is no pressure left, and this guy is indeed clumsy. The plump body was constantly blocked by this tree and completely played with by Zhu Ting. It doesn't even require any special skills, just run forward and occasionally take a turn. However, there were also unexpected situations that arose. Attracted by the cries of this elite, ordinary zombies outside continued to gather towards him, which made Zhu Teng a little anxious. However, overall it's okay, perhaps due to the wilderness or other survivors attracting more zombies. There were not many zombies surrounding, and each one walked slowly without running. After waiting for about 8 minutes, this elite monster still hasn't died. Zhu Teng looked at the ordinary zombie getting closer and closer, and finally couldn't help but prepare to take action. It seemed that its condition was not very good either. He only needed to make up for the last blow to end the battle. So, while the obese zombie was turning around, he used his speed advantage to wrap around behind him. Once again, he took out the rusted sword from his backpack and raised it high, ready to launch a final blow. The obese zombie also noticed Zhu Teng behind it, immediately turned around and spat out a big mouthful of bad breath. It reached out its hand and tried to catch Zhu Teng again. If this blow cannot kill Zhu Teng, it is really a very dangerous situation. Daring to get close to such a monster is not a rational behavior. Bang! The heavy sword landed, and the monster looked at Zhu Teng incredulously. It couldn't imagine how the weak human in front of it could kill him with its own strength. Although it lacks wisdom and thinking, it still shows a reluctant expression, slowly landing and unable to climb up again. Chapter 8. First Crisis, Not a Natural Disaster. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, the excitement of successfully killing the elite monster again is even higher than the first time. Because there was no bug in the card protection zone this time, I defeated it purely based on my own strength and wisdom. For Zhu Teng, it was an extraordinary battle, at least boosting his confidence. From this battle, one can still discover one's own shortcomings. Ultimately, it is still because one is not suitable for weapons such as large swords and heavy swords. Flexible and versatile combat skills, combined with a sharp mind, are the true weapons. You came just right, take a look around, and there are already many ordinary zombies surrounding the forest. Zhu Tengfei did not panic at all, but was actually very happy. It's too late to find monsters to kill now. It's really desirable to surround so many zombies. As for not being able to win, there is no need to worry about it. The rust in my hand has a group control effect, and I also have serum that instantly clears the zombie virus in my hand. No matter how I think about it, I won't be afraid of these guys. Let me have a good time killing you. Arriving at the edge of the forest, Zhu Teng raised his sharp blade and continuously smashed it at these zombies. Actually, vertical chopping is more uncomfortable than horizontal chopping, and the back sway is really outrageous. Considering the excellent control effect of the shockwave after hitting the ground, which can significantly slow down the attack rhythm of these ordinary zombies, Zhu Teng had to lift high and then chop heavily every time. After more than 40 repeated movements, the surrounding zombies that were attracted were finally cleaned up. Seeing that there were no enemy threats around, Zhu Teng threw his weapon beside him and sat on the ground panting heavily. Although I usually do activities such as changing large buckets of water and moving tables and chairs for my leaders, repeatedly doing these weightlifting movements in a short period of time is still quite labor-intensive. After relaxing now, I only feel my hands empty and numb, as if they are not my own, and I no longer have the strength to lift them up normally. Looking at the panel, there was still no movement. Although I feel that I have improved in all aspects, I cannot see any substantial feedback and still feel a bit disappointed in my heart. After resting for nearly 10 minutes, I feel that my strength has recovered somewhat. Time cannot allow oneself to rest. Although there is still one day left, if one cannot find the city before dark, where to rest at night can become a tricky problem. Put the rust back into your backpack and continue moving forward. The sound of pleading continued to come from around, and after seeing Zhu Teng's performance, the people around were simply crazy. They didn't know Zhu Teng's true identity, but they had guessed everything and wanted to hold on to such a thigh. Does anyone need assistance? I am currently searching for a map. I need to form my own team, and people with talents above level B should contact me to jointly resist future enemies. Talent below level B is also welcome to join. As long as you become my person, I will definitely not treat you unfairly. Before that, I was an executive director of HS Heavy Lock Engineering Company. I inquired about my reputation. I am an S.level talent owner here, and not only the strongest, but also a top-notch presence. Follow me and I guarantee that you can do well in this world. People who are stronger than me are also welcome to join my team. I believe I have more leadership skills, and I can give you everything you want. Or if you feel like you have leadership skills and defeat me, I am willing to be your second in command. In the channel, Lan Fei also began to constantly send messages, and the last one was obviously sent to Zhu Teng. Lan Fei seems to really enjoy the feeling of being a leader, so eager to buy people's hearts and form his own power. Also, it is estimated that at least 99% of people want to become leaders, and people like myself are probably in the minority. Zhu Teng sighed in his heart that he was the alternative. But more importantly, Lan Fei's performance made Zhu Teng have to be wary. Based on one's own experience as a worker, this kind of leadership is often the scariest. Zhu Teng was initially surprised by Lan Fei's invitation again. After careful consideration, it was not surprising that he wanted to approach him as a friend, which would definitely be a good thing for Lan Fei. If Zhu Teng becomes the leader of Blue Fly very strong, Blue Fly can rely on his own big tree and be his second in command. If Zhu Teng and Lan Fei become mere partners rather than subordinates, they will not be at a disadvantage to Lan Fei. Having multiple friends and paths, being such a powerful friend is definitely not a disadvantage. If Zhu Teng could work under Lan Fei, it would be even more perfect, and it would definitely make Lan Fei's path as a leader smooth. So no matter what kind of relationship it eventually develops into, as long as it doesn't become an enemy, it won't be a loss for Lan Fei, so I have always wanted to contact Zhu Teng. Zhu Teng has temporarily ignored Lan Fei's invitation, at least for now he still wants to be a lone ranger. Let's wait until the D.level natural disaster strikes before discussing cooperation. Continue moving forward, killing zombies while keeping an eye on the trend of regional chat. Many people are beginning to try to leave the protected area and explore nearby. Many other strong individuals have also stepped forward one after another, some are searching for teammates, some are paid to take care of others, some are fighting against the same recruiters and Lan Fei, some are searching for relatives, and some have started to engage in activities such as luring and robbing. It can be said that life is full of all kinds of people. Many people have started to say on chat channels not to trust others casually, as they have seen many people in neighboring protected areas being deceived. Some strong individuals lure people out of the protected area under the guise of leading others, and then carry out brutal killings after they leave the protected area. Within the protected area, even human attacks may not be effective, but outside the protected area, there are no rules for protection. These people are purely psychopaths, enjoying the feeling of slaughter. Because beginners really don't have much on them, even if they kill and steal from Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com, they won't get anything. So these bastards are just venting their inner darkness. Compared to the initial aversion caused by Lan Fei's high-profile behavior, Zhu Teng is even more disgusted with such people. I plan that if I encounter it, I will never show mercy and directly take its life. Ha ha ha, I tricked another little idiot. This little idiot in his 20s thought I was really here to save him, so he walked out and came to my side. His screams just before he died were so pleasant to hear, it's so satisfying. This group of people not only doesn't care about the insults from the whole district, but also takes pride in showing off on the chat channel. That's right, that's right. I just fooled out an old lady. She was always looking for her daughter, and I said to take her there. When I tricked her out, I cut off her hands with a knife and saw her blood spurting out and howling uncontrollably. But she begged me to let go and let her go find her daughter. It was too noisy, and I stuffed her hand into her mouth, and in the end, I burst her mouth. This feeling was so satisfying. The next noon, at this moment, the chat channel had completely transformed into a twisted communication conference. No matter how people curse, they really don't care at all. And as time goes on, more and more of these people are like this. Cool, go to hell with the law, that's what's cool. Don't force me, this is the end of the world. I'll do whatever I want. I won't let anyone kill me. You're all Virgin Mary, right? Even the Virgin Mary deserves to die, the end of the world should be slaughtered. Ha ha ha, you guys look so funny when you're angry. People continue to join in this abnormal behavior, and the first crisis occurred in the 1211 wasteland area within 24 hours. Compared to the crisis caused by natural disasters, this crisis was triggered by humans themselves. Chapter 9. Thank you to the two of you for sending us an important lesson. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. As chat channels become increasingly chaotic, the screen swiping speed has reached an exaggerated level. There are a total of 15,000 people in the entire district, and at least 3.4 thousand people are chatting and cursing here. The screen was refreshing rapidly, and there were hardly any words visible. For these perverts, Zhu Teng is not surprised, and he even knows what these people are like. A long time ago, when browsing video apps, I often saw these people. These people have many characteristics. They advocate crime and believe that this behavior is cool, they advocate ignorance and believe that knowledge is the greatest burden, they despise technology and believe that development has made the world a bad place, they vigorously promote the theory that learning is useless, they promote brawls and serious injuries as the existence of glory. They believe that if a person has any trace of goodness, it is a hypocritical Virgin Mary. This is a group of people that Zhu Teng often sees on the internet. Therefore, the great disturbance in the 1211 area this time was both somewhat regrettable and not so unexpected for Zhu Teng. After all, in the recent environment, the mainstream promotion on the internet is killing, and a little bit of human nature will be pursued and scolded by a group of people. Although Zhu Teng was not ashamed of these people, he did not participate in this verbal altercation. The more this environment is, the more Zhu Teng knows that he should quickly improve his strength to avoid being ambushed by such villains. People are complex, with both selfish and glorious aspects, which is Zhu Teng's evaluation of most people, including himself. The anger towards these people was vented on the zombies, leaving behind a trail of wreckage along the way. Although I have been restraining myself from wanting this group of perverts, I can't help but think of the perverted behavior they posted on the chat channel. Spreading his hatred towards them onto the zombies made Zhu Teng much more excited than before. Zhu Teng always believed that the training along the way was to be able to deal with these abnormal attacks cleanly and efficiently. Your big sword is not bad. While contemplating the direction of people's future development, he also casually chopped down a newly emerged zombie. A voice suddenly appeared on one side, accompanied by a whoosh. The numerous crises along the way quickly cultivated Zhu Teng's good preparation habits. There are often zombie sneak attacks that can be remotely attacked, and the instant evasion is not only particularly skilled, but also far surpassing oneself a day ago. When he heard this whoosh, he immediately put away his weapon and rushed forward. A sharp arrow flashed from behind, brushing against Zhu Teng's short hair and shooting into the distance. Cut, is it off-center? A disdainful voice came, and the tone didn't sound like a good person. Zhu Teng's heart was also pounding and jumping, and he had a sense of crisis, but he was still too beginner. Fortunately, as the opponent is also a beginner and their shooting skills are not very high, they managed to dodge the surprise attack without any danger. Hey, this is my favorite prey. I've been watching for half an hour. Don't his mother compete with me? Just as Zhu Teng was preparing for battle, another voice sounded from the side. I was being tracked for so long. The shock in Zhu Teng's heart at this moment was the greatest within 24 hours. Even the arrival of this apocalypse did not make me tremble so much. Due to a serious lack of anti-tracking awareness, Zhu Ting immediately realized his shortcomings. No matter how powerful your attack is, you are still a physical body. How to resist a surprise attack is not as fragile as before. When Zhu Ting was shocked, the two people began to have friction, from communication to verbal abuse. It was just a few words. "Clean your mouth for me, I can only curse. Don't tell me about me. I told you what, you brainless idiot must lower me a level. Don't you see how strong this guy is? Zombies in his hands are deadly with just one strike, and you're just attacking recklessly. Do you know if you're ruining me? I told you that if you scold me again, you will die first. You are too greedy to fight, and others are to blame. I tell you, just get out of your face, or I will kill you together. A brainless thing, who is like you. This guy is not the kind of novice. Killing him is not for the pleasure of torture, but for real killing and profiteering. I followed him to wait for his stamina to run out before taking action, achieving the effect of killing him with one blow. Now is good, if it weren't for you idiot, I would definitely take off directly. Fly, I'll let you fly now. Give me your soul to fly to heaven, no, it should be to hell. Let me educate you, you brainless thing." These two people, one with a bow and the other with a sword, were tense as they spoke, ready to fight to the death. "I mean, haven't you ever respected me?" Zhu Ting walked slowly and looked at the two of them, his nervous heart having calmed down. Knowing mistakes is not scary, correcting them is. What's scary is not having a chance to correct it and dying directly. Since I didn't die this time, I definitely need to pay more attention to my surroundings in the future. Remember this. Get out of here and wait until we kill you. I don't want to kill you now. Just be honest and wait, I'll deal with you later. They turned around to look at Zhu Ting and continued to glare at each other. Cough, let me interrupt and ask a small question. Did you both want to kill me just now? If so, I think I can resolve your dispute. Zhu Ting coughed a few times and forced them to turn their gaze back to his side. That's right, my C-level talent poison warrior. The poison attack attached to the arrow can definitely make you feel unbearable. I love listening to people's desperate screams before death, and I just killed one on the way. That scream is really wonderful. Just now the arrow was empty, so you won't have a chance to dodge it next time. The AP is a natural disadvantage against bows and arrows like mine, ha 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 ha. The person who launched the surprise attack had a rather lewd smile, just like the villains in movies and TV shows, with the same sharp voice as the petty villains. It made Zhu Ting's heart churn with nausea, as he had never encountered such an iconic arrogant villain in reality. I know you're very strong, but I'm not a vegetarian along the way. In the end, my hands were trembling and I didn't have much strength to kill the zombies. I'm different from this pervert, I'm just trying to find the sword in your hand. I am very smart and want to be more cautious. I will wait until you are completely tired before starting to fight, but I was interrupted by this idiot. But now it's not a big problem. According to my calculations, with your current physical strength, our victory rate in battle is at least 90% or more. I will kill you, cut off your limbs with your sword, and pay tribute to this precious sword. The tracker was much more calm in his speech, but he still couldn't conceal his inner arrogance, believing that he had already taken Zhu Ting through his intelligence. Not bad, not bad. The two of you are really like dragons and phoenixes among people. Although I will be killed by both of you soon, I still want to express my sincere gratitude to both of you. You have taught me the most important lesson in my life. Zhu Ting looked at the two of them and bowed lightly after speaking, with a casual smile on his lips. Class, what class do I have? I hate class the most. I tell you, the most useless thing in the world is students, and the last thing is to work for people who drop out of school. You idiot, what he means is that at the last moment of his life, he realizes the dangerous truths in the world, and thank us again. You don't need to thank me for that. Just scream a few more times before you die, and let me help with the excitement. Thank you. It's only natural for me to ask Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com for tuition fees, and I'll take your sword and your life to pay for it. Just now, the two of them, who were still in a state of tension, sang a duet and turned around to fight against Zhu Ting together. Who? In an instant, a violent gust of wind appeared and then disappeared. The two of them opened their mouths in disbelief and looked at their own bodies and Zhu Ting in front of them. Zhu Ting tightly grasped the rust with both hands and suddenly swung a horizontal slash, causing himself to almost fall with a heavy backsway. A huge wound appeared between the two people's bodies, and blood spurted out in an instant. I have never killed anyone in my life, and I have never dared to kill anyone. I know that it is almost impossible to maintain that fear in such an environment. I thank you all for letting me practice and break through my psychological barrier. After speaking, he crouched down and smiled at the two people who fell to the ground, listening to their constant screams. This horizontal strike did not cut off the two people's waist, but only made a huge incision in their stomachs. Serious injuries and bleeding make it almost impossible for them to survive, coupled with the passive effect of rust, they will undoubtedly die. The immense pain made them unable to make any sound except for shouting. As they looked at Zhu Ting, their gaze changed from that of a prey to that of a hunter, and gradually their vision became increasingly blurred. At this moment, Zhu Ting seemed to transform into a demon, smiling as he watched the two gradually die. I am not a bad person, nor am I a good person. If you want to eat meat with me, I will most likely take it with you. If you want me to help, I will do my best to help. If you want me to save you, I will do my best to save you. If you want to kill me, I will kill you. I am the Virgin Mary, and I am also a demon. At the last moment, the two heard Zhu Ting say such words. Then the world went black, and I could no longer open my eyes and had no consciousness. Chapter 10. Small Dungeons in the Open World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. Having experienced such a small ripple, Zhu Ting continued to move forward along the road. There was still some trembling in my hands. After all, it was my first time killing someone. Even if you show indifference and composure just now, your heart is afraid. Zhu Ting has killed many animals, and his life as an orphan is far more difficult than he imagined. Whether in welfare homes or in various adoptive households, killing fish, chickens, and rabbits is a common practice. Even if one often ends their life with their own hands, it is still not possible to face human life so plainly. Zhu Ting was very afraid of becoming a cold-blooded, ruthless, and bloodthirsty person in the future, and also afraid of becoming a weak and cowardly person. How to balance the degree between the two, or just believe in one thing? Try to restrain yourself as much as possible from those who do not intend to kill you. Once there is a hint of killing intent, immediately take action to ward off future troubles. In the chat channel, the shouting has gradually decreased. If you have time to type, it's better to kill a few more monsters to improve yourself. No matter which side you support, you need the support of your strength. To Zhu Ting's surprise, after browsing through the chat records, Lan Fei surprisingly participated in this verbal battle. He stood on the opposite side of the killers throughout, constantly scolding them and threatening to kill each one to protect the rights of ordinary people. This gave Zhu Ting a slightly better impression of Lan Fei, but upon closer inspection, Lan Fei commanded everyone with a high-spirited attitude, as if he were already the highest-ranking personnel in this area. This arrogant tone further increased Zhu Ting's disgust towards Lan Fei. Anyway, try to minimize any involvement with Lan Fei, otherwise Zhu Ting will feel that it will cause him a lot of trouble. Continuing forward, it was 3 p.m. in the afternoon. After 8 or 9 hours of running from morning to now, Zhu Ting finally saw the edge of the city from a distance. Surrounding houses began to grow, with various types of small shops and restaurants standing on both sides of the road. And ahead, densely packed with high-rise buildings, it is completely a modern city. Not only are there many houses, but there are also more people moving around. There are always scattered people passing by, which makes Zhu Ting have to distract his attention from these people. Unlike in the wilderness, there are more obstacles such as houses here. If someone has ulterior motives towards themselves, it will be even harder to detect their ambush. I don't have much investigative skills, so I can only distract my energy and always maintain a high level of vigilance. Currently, Zhu Ting's goal is relatively clear and he is selectively searching for houses on both sides. The first purpose is to search for a map of the city and its surroundings, to understand the name of the city and the surrounding landforms. Through these, it is possible to effectively choose where to stay, and future exploration is no longer limited to headless flies. The second purpose is to find more purified water and canned goods, as well as tents, to prepare for survival in the space backpack. The third goal is to find more powerful monsters to fight against. If you find a place where monsters gather densely, you may also find some powerful treasures to increase your strength. According to the Wasteland manual, there are some building areas with dense monsters, which are somewhat similar to small dungeons. In these areas, there are often powerful treasures hidden for people to conquer. Mainly for the first purpose, there are several places where maps may be found. Firstly, Zhu Ting searched for his phone in some rooms, but the internet connection was as difficult as he had imagined, so the map on his phone was definitely not reliable. There are other places where maps can appear, but they are just 3 points. Supermarkets, offices, travel agencies. Supermarkets have a very low probability of selling local maps, while libraries and other places should have a higher probability. The walls of the office may also be pasted, especially for important officials. Travel agencies need to check if this is a travel city, and if so, they should also have a map introducing the city. So Zhu Ting walked towards the town while observing the shops around. I found many in the supermarket, but after I went in, I only had food, rice, oil, salt, milk, eggs, biscuits, snacks and so on. I didn't sell maps at all. Yes, even in the city where I used to be, there were rarely maps sold in supermarkets. In my memory, they were mostly sold in super large supermarkets or bookstores. I haven't seen anyone on the chat channel mention the coordinates and positions here. Everyone just says they have something around them and hopes to get help. Unless the search and rescue personnel have radar-like innate abilities, it's like searching for a needle in a haystack, it's really difficult to find. Slaying a few inconspicuous zombies, Zhu Ting passed by a quite spacious courtyard. Looking inside, there is a 5-story small building in the middle and a 3-story small building on each side. This courtyard is located in the middle of the road, and looking at its grandeur gives Zhu Ting a sense of a township office space. Without saying a word, he rushed in immediately, and there were a large number of zombies wandering in the yard. With the rusty shockwave ability, he controlled and killed the zombies while working tirelessly but safely. Zhu Ting took the rust back into his backpack and sat down somewhere, panting heavily. Just now there were at least 50 or 60 zombies here. Once I stop attacking, without the shockwave effect, I will definitely be devoured by these zombies. Fortunately, with the power of the shockwave, these zombies were so shocked that they couldn't move and could only be lambs waiting to be slaughtered. This time, Zhu Ting was also quite clever. He sat directly in a corner, at least there were 2 sides that he didn't need to be wary of anymore. Looking at the other 2 directions, the sense of security gradually increased. 15 minutes have passed, and the physical strength has basically fully recovered. This time there is still plenty of time, and Zhu Ting dare not attack recklessly. He can only wait for his physical strength to improve before daring to advance. Arriving at the main building in the middle, the huge iron door was tightly locked, tightly closed without any trace of opening. I tried several times to remove the rust, but even with such a huge sword, I still couldn't break it open. The sound of the sword's impact echoed around for a long time, attracting more zombies to surround them once again. Okay, let's just treat it as brushing experience. Zhu Ting comforted himself with 7 or 8 minutes of monster cleaning and 4 or 5 minutes of rest. Once ready, stand in front of the gate again. This time, I didn't stand in front of the main building in the middle, but rather the building on the east side. The building on the east side is still locked, making Zhu Ting look speechless. Looking for Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com, can we say that this is also an extremely small replica designed by God in the open world? What else did you say? I must have gone to the west side building first, and there was a key inside to open the east side building. After completing the strategy, obtain the key to the main building and go to the main building for the strategy. If nothing unexpected happens, the treasure chest should be located in a room on the highest floor of the main building. Alas, if you have better skills or are particularly strong, there may be a way to skip classes. But now, you can only take it step by step. Zhu Ting looked at the top of the main building and shook his head to himself. We still need to take solid steps one by one. The wasteland world of the apocalypse is not easy. As expected, the west gate of the building opened, carrying the rusty Zhu Ting as he stepped into it. There's nothing difficult inside, just piles of zombies, with an elite monster at the top. With previous experience, there was no threat to Zhu Ting at all. Although he exhausted his stamina, he did not execute him all in a thrilling manner. This elite monster dropped a shot of serum, and the previous elite monster also dropped a heart. Only the first elite monster dropped 3 items directly. Let Zhu Ting face up to the drop rate once again. It seems that the item is not so good. Found the key on the elite monster and immediately returned to the east tower. The east building is a 2-story small building, with the first floor serving as a restaurant and the second floor as a changing room. The structure is simple and the venue is not large, and there are not many zombies inside. The same process was cleaned up and the elite monster in the east building was killed. This time, nothing was killed, which really left Zhu Ting speechless. Can it be said that there is a hidden new phone system in this wasteland world, which drops higher at the beginning and worse as it falls backwards? This can only remain as speculation and cannot be confirmed at the moment. Zhu Ting picked up the key he had found and arrived at the main building, where the real challenge had just arrived.